Hello and good afternoon, Xbox Nation. Welcome to this week's new episode of the Xbox Lunch Break Special. I'm your host, Mr. BoomStick XL. Folks, we have an outstanding 90 plus minutes for you. We're going to be talking about, well, Xbox is what you would expect. And for the next 90 so minutes, you're going to get you're not going to get 3 hours. I have 3 hours of late game content for Redfall. Again, folks, I understand that the Xbox community was let down by the state of how the game came out, and I'm not going to take away. If you, like my brother, for instance, he got to the second island or the second map, and he's done with the game. He had 30 hours into it, and he's like, "Yeah, this is just not for me. It's too broken." Listen, shout out to Neo Mental for keeping it real. For me, I like him, 35 plus hours in. I am having a great time with it. I really am. And obviously, this is going to be the talk of the town until Microsoft's next big release. Because guess what? It's a bit of a black eye. Phil Spencer came out last week and did what a real leader does, and he took all the arrows, folks, front and back. Listen, shout out to Randall Thor, who was under the weather. He was supposed to be on Dave's podcast on Sunday, and Rand has those days. So, Rand, I hope that you're feeling better. And shout out to Jez Corden. They put on a near 4.5 hour podcast on the Xbox 2 podcast. I am halfway through it. Phenomenal stuff. Honesty out the yin yang, which is what you would expect. But listen, Crazy Lou Gaming is running late. I don't want to say why he's running late, but he'll explain to you when he gets here, folks. But listen, Dave, shout out to you for picking up the pieces yesterday and bringing in a good friend of the community. Has been had to take a bit of a step back for family related reasons in VJ. How did the show go yesterday, and how the heck are you doing, man?
Oh man, it went great. VJ stepped in, and so did Infinite Umbra.
Oh,
Stepped
nice.
up to
Oh,
the
yeah,
blaze.
Infinite. Okay, all right.
Yeah. So yeah, and then of course, me and Retri just had a good time. The conversations were good. The chat was fantastic, and I can't complain, man. Again, yeah, it would definitely hearts go out to Rand. Hopefully he's had a rough couple of weeks and he was under the weather, so totally
Yeah.
understandable. And he's a great pillar of the community, amazing guy. Speaking of an amazing guy, here's next guy, Fuzzy Belvedere, the sexy one.
Indeed. Indeed. Fuzzy, how you feeling, brother? Good afternoon. Glad that you could be with us. We have a lot to get into.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm glad to be here with you guys. Just been, watching Twitter as far as meltdowns and just craziness, but been having fun playing, some smaller games. Like played a good bit of the last Case of Benedict Fox, and then
Nice.
roll credits on Jedi Survivor. So having fun with
nice.
that. And then still playing Undisputed. Yeah, there's still some arm fatigue that I'm not a fan of in it, but I'm looking forward to when that comes to console, or if that convinces EA to make another fight night. So man, just having fun, but man, glad to be here with you guys. Thanks for everybody in the chat, and yeah, we got some topics to get into, so let's do this.
Yeah, folks, I wanna open up with some unsurprising news. Now, Ravenlock is what a lot of people are calling an absolute indie darling that dropped directly into Xbox Game Pass upon its launch. I think why we want to have this conversation is because of a story that was run by Windows Central. Of course, one of my favorite places and most trustworthy places to get gaming news. And obviously, I have a connection to Windows Central thanks to, of course, Miles Dompierre, who used to write for them and do his podcast there. But of course, Jez Corden. This article that I pulled for today's show comes the way of Zachary Body, where the title of the article, folks, is Ravenlock developers share thoughts on Xbox Game Pass following the game's launch. And it's pretty interesting. again, look, there is a lot of discourse right now in the Xbox community. Some people will say it's righteous. Some people will say it's an overreaction. I'm kind of in the middle, right? Like, I gotta be honest with you. I took a lot of what happened with Redfall on the chin. I told you folks from the beginning I was disappointed with the no 60 frames per second at launch, that I was in fact going to give it a shot because I played many of Far Cry's in 30 frames and it didn't bother me. And I told you that if it bothered me, that I would just wait for a patch update. Well, it turns out, folks, that it's been running smooth for me. I've only had a couple of hiccups here and there where I had to reset it. I couldn't switch weapons. That happened once. And I got stuck in a door. That happened once. But it hasn't been egregious. Now, look, I'm not making excuses for Arcane. I'm not making excuses for Phil Spencer. The game should not have released this way. It was supposed to be a triple A bomb to start, the four of the expected 4 AAA bombs that we're getting this year. If you consider Redfall, Motorsport, Starfield, and Hellblade, which we're going to get into tomorrow. I got some behind the scenes information that kind of suggests that actually may be a game launching in November. But Xbox Game Pass has been at the forefront, guys, of the conversation for quite some time. Now, there are a lot of people that are not Xbox fans that will have and looked upon at Xbox Game Pass as being, cannon fodder for the game, for your subscription. I disagree. I absolutely disagree with that. I think that is a farce, especially if you look at the last couple of weeks of releases. Now, the reason why I want to bring Ravenlock into the conversation is because of the interview that Windows Central did, and it kind of does echo a lot of the conversation behind Xbox Game Pass being a place for both AAA, AA, single A, and of course, indie games to thrive. Because unlike places like PlayStation, for instance, that charge a very, very large, significant amount of money to get your game on their page to advertise, I think it's upwards of 30 grand. Now, if you're an indie developer, I mean, who has that kind of money? You're hoping to just get your money back on that was invested based on sales. And that's why we see a lot of indie developers choosing Xbox Game Pass, specifically because of how they welcome in and how they, share that, how they basically sell their games for them on Xbox Game Pass, which is an advertising all by itself. So here is what let's see now. Let me just get the exact name of who is interviewed here. Vanessa Chia, who is the director and producer of Ravenlock, had this to say. With hindsight, I'm happy to report that Xbox Game Pass has been 100% worth it for us. It allows us access to so many players for the Voxel trilogy, Riverbond, Echo Generation, and now Ravenlock. As indie developers, visibility is always a struggle, and knowing that there is a low barrier of entry for players to get their hands on playing the game is solving a big challenge for us. Now, Dave, I want to go to you first on this because this is it's a big deal. I have not played Ravenlock because obviously, I'm trying to record all kinds of footage, and pun totally intended. Redfall has its fangs in me, and it doesn't want to let me go. So I have to finish Jedi. Fallen Order, Jedi Survivor. I got to play Benedict Fox. I want to get into Ravenlock. There's just so much to play. There's just unfortunately not enough time in a day. But Dave, does this latest interview kind of clear up whether or not Game Pass is worth it? And does it really cement the fact that it does not matter what your game is in regards to it being a AAA, AA, single A, or even an indie title? If you put your heart and soul into a game, it deserves to be played. It deserves to be seen. And Xbox Game Pass seems to be doing it right. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think it's a great article, and I think it's really awesome for them to come out and state the positivity that they've had. The there's always going to be the quote unquote haters out there, and a lot of let's face it, PlayStation fanboys that try and bring down Game Pass because it's working. They don't like it when other people have good advantages and good good experiences on Xbox, and for some reason that's just the way it is. I have no idea what motivates them to be this hateful, to be honest with you, but they thrive for that. And it's good to see that that their quote unquote narrative, that Game Pass is bad and hurts the gaming industry, is wrong. It is just not the case, and in fact, it helps a lot of gamers, especially smaller gamers, or smaller game companies, get their product out there where people might not have ever seen it. We know from developers that the PlayStation Store, for example, if you put a game on there, they expect you to pay for placement
Yes.
to get your game, even to where it can be seen. Where Microsoft's philosophy is different, to where if it's a new release, they'll let everybody know about a new release, and they'll let everybody have a chance at it. And if it's something they can work out, they feel like it's something that would work with the community, then they'll bring it into Game Pass, whether it's a limited time, a full run. You just never know, because they have so many different options, which Phil said, which I think is another amazing part to Game Pass. It gives them the choice. Maybe you just want to put your game on for a month or 2 months in Game Pass, just to kind of give it its legs, to get it started. That be your promotional thing, and then have a good value, good price, and people will hopefully catch on and grow from there. But there's other games that are like, they've been in Game Pass since day one, and probably will be in there until the end of time, because it's just the deal they worked out, and the way they want to do it, or made it quote unquote even an exclusive to the platform through that, which they've done a few of those as well. So it's nice to see this kind of feedback, really, from somebody who's I've played the game about an hour and a half, so I haven't spent a lot of time on it. Of course, I have to buy my time with a lot of different things. We always wish we had more time. I'm on vacation this week, and I won't be able to play games until Wednesday night, because I got so much honeydew list I got to work on. So you're muted, Boom. You're muted.
There you go.
There you go. I didn't even hear anything you said. Sorry.
I was gonna say that's very disappointing that you get your vacation. You finally, there's a lot of games to play. Like I said,
Yeah.
it is going to be I think really hard moving forward, because like I said, you have Zelda releasing. Now Sony, we don't really know what Sony's doing, but we know Spider-Man is coming, so that's coming the end of the year. There's a lot to get excited about, folks. Yeah.
Zelda's doing a midnight release at GameStop's at most stores, or I guess a 11 p.m. release type thing. So I got the call for that just yesterday, so we'll be going to that for sure. So
nice.
Yep, it'll be cool.
Well, that's good stuff, dude. Listen, I bought mine for I paid $50 for it. I got the voucher. They have, if you didn't know, they have this thing every now and again where for $100 you buy this 2-pack of vouchers, and you can get 2 games of your choice. Zelda, which went up to $70, was one of them. And what was the other one I got? I think I got Pikmin 3 or Pikmin 4. I think it's 4 that's coming out. So it's a new Pikmin that's coming out later this year. And of course, Zelda, which is fantastic. You cannot argue that the game is $70. Listen, I don't care. I am going to stop every and anything. I loved Breath of the Wild so much so that I beat it twice. I am very excited for this. I know some people that might have been playing it, and they said it's very dark because some copies got out into the wild. And I'm not going to say that I'm jelly in any way, but listen, enjoy your time. It's cool.
Yeah,
Fuzzy
I've
Belt.
seen it firsthand. Looks really good.
It
My
looks.
my son's got a special copy. How's that?
Son of a.
I know
There
it.
you go.
I know it.
There you go. I mean, listen, good on you, brother. Good on your son for that matter.
He's still buying it, but he's like, I'm not gonna wait. I'll play it now.
Yeah, Neil Mental actually drops the first super chat of the day. He's been a parent member for 2 years. He's my brother, so that's really cool. He says this after dropping a $2 super chat. Man, you are nuts. I hate this game. And he's talking about Redfall. You know, listen, he's being honest, folks, and that's cool.
Yeah.
That's why we're brothers, two different mentalities, not a bunch of yes men on this panel, or in my family for that matter. Bunty, who's been a channel member for 23 months, says, enough respect, Boom. I have to listen to this later. But have a wonderful day. Yeah, thanks so much, Bunty. Definitely want to say thank you for all the outstanding support. And of course, yeah, we'll have this up on all of your favorite podcast services for your favorite RSS feeds, as well as, of course, being on YouTube later this afternoon as soon as we're done. But Fuzzy, I want to bring you into the conversation because, you know, again, this is not the first time that we've heard from a developer. We've heard more developers praise Xbox Game Pass for the simplicity of being able to put a game there, potentially get 30 million eyes on game. Because you know what it does? It goes right into what just released, what's new, right? There's a whole section of what's new. And your game obviously starts with ID at Xbox, with IOCat. That dude has been running it since its inception. It's heralded as being one of the most welcoming and friendly places to put your games. They welcome you in your open arms. They help you when you need it. They give you advice when you need it. I'll be honest with you. I'm not a game developer. I know nothing about making games. But if I were making games, Xbox would be the first place that I tried. Only because of all of the more happy stories of triumph that you get out of Xbox, as opposed to having to spend 30 grand to get your game on the front page of Sony, which is bonkers. No indie developer has that. I mean, what does this statement by the director and producer of it mean for you?
Well, it just goes to show, like you guys have been saying, it shows that Game Pass is working for getting more smaller developers in front of eyes and in front of gamers in a way that would cost thousands, if not hundreds of thousands otherwise. Plus, it allows gamers to try games that they may not have either known that were coming, or they've been even looking for, or different types of genres than what they normally play. So it helps on the gamer side as far as exposing you to stuff that may not have been on your radar previously, and you find the game, have fun with it, or just play it for achievements, or play it for out of boredom because you were waiting on another game that didn't deliver what you wanted. But in any event, there's always something within the service that's going to probably land well with you. And for these smaller developers, this is like the perfect storm as far as getting engagement, or getting people to play your game, getting feedback on people playing your game, seeing, like, I can't imagine what it's like as far as being a developer, and then to see like screenshots or screen caps or small video clips, praising your game from people that probably would have never, bothered picking it up otherwise. It definitely shows that there's validity to the service, as well as, I guess it kind of kills that narrative that Game Pass is bad for gaming. Because if so many developers are having, a good experience with it, then I can't imagine. Like, typically you hear more of the complaints when something is bad. You usually hear the complaints over the compliments. So it's like, I haven't really heard any developers say that, they've had issues with Game Pass. Like, I've seen the back end of things where People Can Fly had issues more so with Square, where Square was like, oh yeah, it did well in Game Pass. And then, People Can Fly is like, where's our money kind of thing. But that was, them having, I guess, some sort of negotiation issue with Square. But, it's awesome to see. we're going to continue to see it, especially considering how many more like of these small or independent developer games that are going to be coming to the service. Like we got Planet of Lana, I think, coming later this year.
23rd, I think it is actually the 23rd of May, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and then we got Replaced, and we
Yeah.
got quite a few other ones that are in the pipeline. So it's always great to see these devs having some success and good things to say about the service. And I'm pretty sure it speaks volumes as far as other small developers to work out something to get their game on the service. So it's great to see. And it's one of those games that, much like Dave, I need a little bit more free time to be able to get to it. I mean, now that I finished Jedi Survivor, I have a little bit more room to squeeze another game in. But yeah, I definitely want to give Ravenlock a try here soon.
That looks really good. Like a lot of people are very very happy with it. I've seen a lot of screenshots where, because it has 50 achievements, which is a lot, right, for a small game. But I see people like all weekend putting up screenshots that they've 1,000 out of 1,000 this game, and they're praising it high, low, and center. Basically, yeah. I've actually seen some comments where this is going to be in their top 10. Very very similar to Hi-Fi Rush, and I think, Look, here's the thing. No one is trying, especially here on this channel, on this podcast, and the remainder of the week. We have 4 incredible shows. I got a special Thursday show. I have a guest making their debut. He's an esports player. I've never met him before. His PR team had reached out to me a couple of weeks ago. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag. But I'm going to be making the announcement of who he is. And obviously, we're going to be doing a nice sit down for X-Vlog Live this Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're going to be talking some esports. We're going to be talking about what MLG would mean for Xbox if they continue to push forward and acquire ABK, which something big happened today, folks. We're going to get into it probably tomorrow because I need to get some information. In fact, you know what? Let me just read it to you and see. Did I send it to myself? Bloody hell! Oh man, I hate when I do that. I thought. Oh, you know what? I know who I sent it to. Hold on, just a second. Let me find it. Okay. Let's see. I sent it to my primetime brother. Okay. Yes. Florian Muller. Obviously at FOSS Patents, who has been keeping us abreast to what is going on with ABK, even after the veto from the CMA that took everyone, including Microsoft, by surprise. He just tweeted this. Apparently, EU antitrust chief indicates that her agency's ABK merger ruling can easily differ from what the CMA had. So I mean that we're kind of hearing this now that's in fact what may happen. That the EU was going to be was again, if the EU blocks, I think, folks, the deal is dead. But if the EU passes, and they're easily going to beat the FTC. And at that point, we heard that incredible interview with Michael Pachter just the other day with via Dustin Legary on his YouTube channel. And even though a lot of people, like they take Michael Pachter at arm's length, listen, all I can say is this: if he works for Wedbush. That is a multi-million-dollar organization. And if he gets out there and he makes a fool of himself, he makes a fool out of the company, right? Even though he's not there representing his company, he's there even still representing his company. So yes, he's gotten it wrong a lot. I've said that live on the air, but he's also gotten it right quite often. And he seems to think that this deal is going to go through. I'm right there with him. I think that they're, especially after what happened with Amazon Luna in the UK. I mean, are you kidding me? Microsoft had 5,000. See, this is where it gets into whether or not there's corruption, there's collusion. Microsoft's numbers equate to about 5,000 gamers using cloud in the UK. That's confirmed by Jez Corden. He confirmed that. What's interesting, folks, and why I think the CMA is going to lose the appeal to CAT, and that eventually it's going to come back to them and they're going to have to figure this out, is that when Amazon Luna launched into the UK, 18 million people got Fortnite for nothing. Think about that for a second. So that's literally 3 and some change more for cloud than Xbox has in the UK, which is why they blocked the deal. I mean, listen, I'm no mathematician, folks, but when you have 3 times more, they're the market leader. I don't know how you could block this, but I don't want to go down this rabbit hole, folks. I honestly want to talk about video games, and we have a lot to get into, but I did want to update you. We're probably I'm going to read through this. I'm going to wait for a post up to give some updates because he's been on fire as well. And we will get into this probably tomorrow. I don't know. Oh, Crazy Lou Gaming is here. Okay, so I didn't want to say why you were late because you said something in the DM that had me concerned, but also scratching my head. I figure if there's someone that's going to be breaking out of jail, it's going to be Crazy Lou on a motorcycle.
Bad boys.
What
you
the
gonna
freaking?
do?
What happened,
When
Crazy
they
Lou
come for
Gaming?
you.
It's Dominican Republic. What can I say? It happens.
Breaking the law.
I was coming out of the doctor. I was in the doctor this morning, a diet doctor. So I was getting out. They made a quick stop and they checked out my my gun license, and it appeared that was like a month. It was a month
Expired.
Expired, yeah. So I was like, okay, you gotta come with us. I'm like, why? Why? They no, you're going to jail. I was like, okay, then let's go. What can I do? So yeah, I paid the gun license and everything, and yeah, they just right away let me go. Right, I paid it online. It was a hassle. If you don't go to jail here, you're not.
So basically, you're saying that you're not a real citizen of the Dominican Republic if you don't go to jail at least once.
Yes.
Oh my God! Listen, I'm sorry that happened. I'm glad you got it worked out. Obviously, having the gun license is incredibly important. I obviously have it for because I'm a retired police officer, so I have firearms. I do. I'm not a gun collector. I'm not a gun nut like that.
Me either.
But I do have firearms, and you have to have your stuff up to date. That's a fact.
Yep.
But Crazy Lou, listen, before I move on to the next topic, because you're here and I was, doing my whole spiel, I was actually looking for some tweets and stuff that I had sent to the DM. I want to get your hot take on the Ravenlock developer coming out and basically saying that, them teaming up with Xbox Game Pass was 100% worth it. And she was quoted, and I say it's Vanessa Chia, who is the director and producer of said game. She said that it allows us access to so many players for the Voxel trilogy, which includes Riverbond, Echo Generation, and Ravenlock, which just released last week. She says, as indie developers, visibility is always a struggle, and knowing that there is a low barrier of entry for players to get hands-on playing the game is solving a big challenge for us. Now, this obviously comes on the cuff of Microsoft having a kind of a real crappy couple of weeks. We saw the interview last week with Phil Spencer via the XCast, which of course is the kind of funny XCast with those fine gentlemen over there. And they didn't shy away from asking the tough questions, which was great. Phil Spencer did not shy away from answering the tough questions, but they kind of needed a small win, coming off of, the very disappointing launch of Redfall, which you see on your screen. Again, like I said, folks, all I say is this: don't be sheep. Play the game. If you think it sucks, then tell everyone in the world that it sucks. Tell Microsoft, tell Phil Spencer, tell Arcane Studios, you got to do better. But if you're having a good time, don't allow for the internet morons that are considered to be trolls to kind of beat you down. I put out a tweet the other day, and it's probably one of my most popular tweets that I've done in a long time. It got so many people talking about Redfall. I'm not making excuses for the game. The game has a lot of problems, but am I still having fun? Yes.
Yep.
With that said, though, I kind of want to turn this on to Ravenlock because this is an indie darling. I saw a lot of people over the weekend, 1,000 out of 1,000 this game. It's been compared to have some Souls-esque or Souls-like kind of action. This is a triumph for the studio, but this isn't even it's an even bigger triumph for Xbox Game Pass because it does break down the barrier that has been put up for small indie developers trying to put games onto PlayStation, and they can. And if they don't pay anything, it gets lost in translation because there's so many games coming out. But if you're trying crazy to put your game onto their store in the front page, it costs 30 grand. No indie developer is going to have that. That's why many of the indie community is choosing Xbox. What are your thoughts on this? Proving once again that Xbox Game Pass is not only good for gamers, but good for developers.
Wait. Before we continue, well, how much was it to get what on what? 30 grand for what?
30 grand to get your game advertised on PlayStation's store.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, nice. 30 grand. It's like, oh, I have 30 grand like it's nothing. Okay, cool. All right. My God. But all right, let's start with this. It's awesome. I'm happy for those guys that they made the right move because I'm going to tell you something, though. Game Pass is the thing. I mean, they actually focus on anybody who jumps on there. I love that each and every single week they show that not only sometimes they put a AAA title, but they also show the indie game that comes out, which also gives you. Am I frozen or is hello?
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah, we hear you.
Okay. Oh, because I was like, oh, I froze. Okay, but I'm happy that that they said it was the right move because hey, these guys do a really hard work to make their game, like everybody does. And I'm happy that Xbox always does a promotion, right? So when somebody looks at, for example, Twitter, you see what's coming out this month. Like, for example, oh, we got this month coming out. I mean, you go ahead and you do a little YouTube search and you look at the trailer like, let me try this out. Let me see how it is. This game looks beautiful because I'll tell you something. The pictures I've seen from Ravenlock, man, that game looks gorgeous. I'm one that's willing to try it out. I can't wait to hop on that and try it out. And man, you look at those videos, look at those trailers, and like, oh, let me install, let me try it out, and then you see and you generate, people talking about it, and that's what happened over the weekend. I mean, okay, we got Redfall. We know Redfall came out, and like what you said, boom, it's got a lot of problems. Agree, we all know that. But if you're playing and you're enjoying it, cool. I mean, I'm one of them that's enjoying it. I'm level, I think it's 12. I think it is level 12.
Nice.
And I'm in the second map. And yeah, let me tell you something. The second map, I think the first map was okay, but the second map, man, I've seen haze fine. But either way, this. But yeah, and then this game comes out. This game from an indie comes out, and I see people posting pictures like, man, this is gorgeous. And I said to myself, you know what? I gotta play this game. And I'm really happy that they actually they're happy with Game Pass and how it's helping them to get people to see their game, and you'll see people are gonna purchase it because if the game is good. I mean, why not? Why not purchase and have it part of your collection? Because I'm that type of guy. If I like a game and I find it good and it's a Game Pass indie or AAA, hey, I'm gonna acquire it for myself and keep it for myself, even though I've beaten it. That's how I am. But yeah, really good that Ravenlock was pretty happy with the results. Really good.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, let's see. I'm happy to know that a small team had success upon launch, right? Yeah. When you see that, and you, first of all, the game is, from what I understand, I only saw a video, folks. I have not played it yet because, like I said, time, and I'm recording footage of Redfall. I'm kind of really enjoying it. Like I said, even with all its faults, I'm having fun, and I thought that's really what gaming was all about. I do want to move on, gentlemen, and chat to our next topic. So let me just pull up the topics list, gentlemen. Give me 1 second. Let's see. Okay, you know what? I'm glad that we have everyone here on the panel because look, I'm not making excuses for Phil Spencer. He's a grown man who has a monster position as head of Microsoft Gaming. What I appreciate about Phil is stepping forward and taking the arrows as a good leader would. Now, one of the things this, again, that 30 plus minute interview with Kind of Funny Games Xcast was I watched it 5 times. And I didn't watch it because I'm so enamored by Phil Spencer. I watched it because I really want to get the minutia of what Phil is saying. And a lot of the time I'm dictating as he's I'm writing as he's speaking, to get the gist of exactly what he's saying. Now, one of the things that always seems to be the standard fare when Phil does an interview is the gaming community as well as the journalistic community always misconstrues what he says, always tries to twist a word, leave a particular 3 words out to make it clickbaitable. This weekend, GameIndustry.biz, which was a source that I used to use on a regular basis, gentlemen, has turned into the Kotaku of gaming journalism. That's the best I can say. I used to really like their writers. I used to like the way that they would give it to you straight. And I'm not sure what happened. I'm not sure whether or not clicks are down and they figured, hey, listen, Xbox took a shit, so we got to pile on the rabbit now, get while the getting's good. I don't know. We've seen a lot of people take some really, really, really bad takes of Phil Spencer and this interview. And I want to read for the chat. Now, by the way, we got, how many people do we have in the chat here? We have almost 500 people here, which is absolutely astounding. I do want to ask before I read the comment and the quote from GameIndustry.biz that if you are finding the channel for the first time and you are liking or enjoying the banter, the honesty, which is the integrity, which is a focal point of what Mrs. Boomstick and I do for Double Barrel Gaming, I ask that you consider subscribing to the channel. We are on the hunt for 13K. We are at 12.2 right now as of this morning. So we're 700 and change away. I put a lofty goal at the beginning of the year. We wanted to hit 15 by the end of 2023. We're already almost at the midpoint, so I don't know. But listen, if you like this content, if you are interested in 5 days a week live streams with 5 different panels, multiple personalities, but most important, all thought-provoking content where we don't use hate as a driving force for your click or your sub, consider subscribing. But I want to read the quote that I have in front of me. And again, this comes from GameIndustry.biz. This was their article over the weekend. And it says this, folks. If Xbox leadership doesn't think consistently delivering high-quality software on the platform, okay, let me start over. If Xbox leadership doesn't think consistently delivering high-quality software on the platform is its top priority, then that leadership has lost focus and needs to change, either by rethinking its strategy or making way for new leadership. Now, one of the things I found to be took me back a little bit, because you think, well, Phil Spencer, right? That dude is so busy, he don't got time for social media. I don't know so much about that, because he actually made mention that he has seen on Twitter, he specifically said it, that he sees the hashtag Fire Phil. He made mention of that. That's pretty intense for someone of his position to make that proclamation, if you will, during the interview. So he listens and he watches. Now, I don't know if he watches or listens to this show. I know several people from Xbox do, which I'm incredibly humbled, because, again, this is still a very small channel. But the fact that he said that tells me that he is listening and he understands the criticism. He's the leader. He's got to take the arrows. Redfall is a failure at launch. It's not what we expect from Arcane. It's not what we expect from first-party Xbox, especially coming off of last year. I think that really cements why people are very upset, because last year was a bust. And again, again, these things, they pile, right? Until the thing is really high and then either tips over or it doesn't. 2021 was an amazing year, but 2021 is coming off of a year in 2020, which wasn't so great for first party. 2021, publisher of the year for Xbox. We're all cheering. Yeah, Xbox, right? 2022, nothing, right? Everything got delayed. The whole 12-month thing, that I hated it when they announced that. I hated it. And it came back to bite them in the ass, folks, just like I knew it would. So let's hope that they never go there again. So 2023, here we are, folks, right? We're like, okay, ABK's closing. We got this. Call of Duty first party. Here we go. Starts off really great on the 26th of January. Hi-Fi Rush comes out of nowhere. Shocks the world. Even the haters of Xbox were like, yeah, this is a pretty good freaking game. I wish it was on PlayStation, but it's a pretty good game, right? And then you had that particular month, so many games into Xbox Game Pass. And so many third-party games have launched multi-plat, but Game Pass has been just delivering left, right, and center. And then the Redfall happens. Well, ABK happens, the block, the veto from the CMA happens, right? So that's a kick to the balls. And then obviously you get Minecraft Legends, not that great of a game. Some people are really enjoying it. 3 million people played it and are playing it right now. Not for me, per se, but, this is the game that you expected to be like an 80 meta for sure. It didn't hit that. And then, of course, Redfall happens. So now, as we've seen on social media, folks, the sky is falling at Redmond. Holy shit. Xbox is dead. We're going back 2013 all over again. People are rocking in the corner. They're rocking like this, folks, because they think 2013 has once again risen from the grave. I mean, seriously, folks? Like, honestly? As much good as Xbox has done so far this year, yeah, they fumbled the ball. Sure. Redfall is a failure, and Xbox knows it. And so does Bethesda. And so does Arcane Studios, because this is not the way the game was supposed to launch. But it is what it is. Have fun like I'm having, or not. Like my brother. My brother was like, I don't like the game anymore. Okay, awesome. Delete it off his hard drive. Me, I'm still playing. So either you like it or you don't. It's fine. No one's right. No one's wrong. Have fun if you want, and give it the finger if you want. It's okay. No harm, no foul. But, Web Dave, this is a damning opinion. Now, it is an opinion, and the author is entitled to this, and but again, it's very, very clickbaitery if you want. Mm-hmm. I think, again, we're not taking the arrows had to be slung, and Phil Spencer had to take them, because someone should have checked on this cake. This came out, and then you cut the cake and it's still moist. It's still droopy in the middle. That's not good. That's not a good tasty snack. But this is I think this is overreaching. It's my opinion, like the author's opinion. I want to get yours though, Dave. What are your thoughts on this story from GameIndustry.biz?
Well, you hit it exactly right on the head, that it is definitely clickbaity material. It wants you to invoke, or actually it does try and invoke a reaction, whether it's from the fanboys that are like, yeah, Microsoft bad, or the people that support Microsoft and think, you're absolutely crazy, you're so far off base, blah blah blah. That's what they want. They want the clicks, and that's pretty clear by the article's title and demeanor. But you're right, it is his opinion. If that's his opinion, as wrong as it is, cool, dude, have it. I won't be watching or reading any of your content because I disagree with your opinions, and they're not my opinions, so I won't watch them or listen to them. That's the way I look at it. That's the way you need to judge all your content. And it's like one of the big things that I love about the community here, and the different voices that you have, and you have a lot of different voices on your shows, and that's good. It's a good thing because it invokes a response, good or bad. But we get a lot of those, cross conversations, and there's sometimes people, oh, I didn't see it that way, or now, you can maybe not necessarily sway somebody, but you at least can present a different perspective. And that's what I love about this community, and I love about your shows, because it clearly does that. And it's I don't agree with them. I think that personally, here's my opinion, that everybody just needs to take a chill pill. We got a big showcase coming up in 33 days now, 33 days away from the showcase. A lot of things will be answered then. Probably some new questions, hopefully exciting new questions will be presented to us. Some new games that are on the horizon. And then some that'll be coming out, and maybe a few surprises, from what we understand, are supposed to be in the works, as it were. I'm looking forward to it. But I'm not gonna have my judgments on Starfield or any of those kind of games that are coming out in the future till I got controller in hand. You have played Redfall and you love it, and that's your opinion. There are a lot of people out there that won't even give it a chance because of this, and this, and this. And that's their prerogative to do that. That's cool. But I'm not going to sit here and say Boom's wrong because Boom shouldn't be having fun. That's dumb. Absolutely
it's
dumb.
funny. I had I don't like blocking people, folks. I really don't. I'm what you see is what you get. I really am a nice guy. I'm not putting myself on a pedestal. I like being a good guy. Like, honestly, I don't like being an a-hole. So I don't like blocking people. And I had no choice. Like, people come to my timeline looking for a fight. I'm not looking for a fight. I want to have fun. I want to talk about games. So I put a bunch of posts up for, what are you playing? And of course, one guy was like, well, good thing you put up still pictures and not video. I heard that this game is terrible. So I say, well, what a great way to, celebrate gaming. And I didn't specifically say that, are you playing Redfall? I said, what game, folks, are you playing? Because I like that kind of interaction. I love talking to you guys and gals. And he comes back with a whole paragraph of hate. Blocked. I don't even let him answer at that point, because why? Who's looking for a fight? I'm gonna be 53 years old. Who has time for this shit? I don't. I just want to play games and have fun. If you think this game sucks, good on you. My brother said that. I got off the phone literally 5 minutes before the show went live. He's like, yeah, dude, that game sucks. I made it to the second map and I can't play it anymore. I don't know how you did it. We're brothers. Two different opinions. Holy cow. Shocking, right? I don't know. Continue. Sorry for that rant.
Yeah, no. But that's exactly my point. Is that his article, right or wrong, if there could be people that read it and be like, I agree with that. That guy's right. And there'll be other people that go like, this guy's a dumbass. Excuse my language. I'm not a nice guy like Boom. But
no, I mean, listen, it's just people. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it is.
Like I said, I make no excuses. They need to do better. We did hear, and I'm starting to hear some things now about Starfield, where folks, it was an all hands on deck kind of a situation. This game is going to be something special, and they have a lot of studios that stepped in to help. And it was delayed, folks. It was delayed a year. It is what it is, and better that it was delayed, obviously, because it's one of their big ones. It's a big one for them. But I don't know, Dave. Anything else you want to add to the ridiculousness?
No, I'll close by saying this, that in this space, you're going to be able to get your opinions at, as long as you do it respectfully. Voice your opinions, even if you disagree with somebody. Be respectful about it. This is a place where you can come hang out and discuss gaming. There's a lot of people in the chat, a lot of great people. We have amazing mods in the chat, including Boss Mod, Lethal Papa, who is amazing. He works with or helps with all the big sites, and it's a blessing to have him here, because he is really good at what he does, and he'll let people give them enough rope to hang themselves, and then he'll send them on their way.
Yep.
But that's the thing about it is, to me, come hang out at all Boom shows and listen to all Boom's content, and you'll be a happy person in the long run.
I appreciate that. That's very kind of you to
No
say.
worries.
I mean, look, like I said, we have over 500 people here, which is astounding. I can't thank you enough. Again, will we ever get into the 1K on a regular basis, like a Randall Thor or a Dealer or even a Colt Eastwood who had 1,200 last Monday, which of course Colt's show is tonight as well with the mag. So don't forget to tune into that. Maybe, but I am going to say this, and I do want to thank, numbers are a part of YouTube, Fuzzy. It's just, it becomes, you do this as a hobby, and then it becomes, kind of like a business, and you gotta check the numbers. You got to make sure the content you're putting out. Well, last week, folks, we got 26,000 views on the 5 shows that we did, that's ridiculous. Like, that's crazy. 26,000 views for a channel that only has 12,000 subscribers. That's pretty impressive. And I would not be able to hit these unbelievable numbers, achievements, if you will, without you. So again, thank you. Honestly, thank you for checking out the show and sharing it with your friends and your family and putting it out on the socials. But Fuzzy, I want to get your opinion on this, because this is, I mean, again, I freedom of speech, folks. Everyone's entitled to their opinions. They're like a-holes. Guess what? Everyone has one, right? Some of them stink, though. So let's just understand that. And this one stinks. This one stinks because this is basically calling for Phil's head. Because I think let me kind of frame this better. I should have did this for Dave. Dave, if you want to jump in afterwards, I should have framed this better. Shame on me as a host. The reason why they're speaking in this tone is because Phil Spencer said that they are not in the business of out counseling Nintendo and PlayStation. Now that set off triggers for everybody. What? They have AAA games, and what do you got? You got Redfall. Sucks to be you, doesn't it? Okay, yeah, it's one game. It's not the end of the world, folks. They've come across this problem too many times for my taste, but they're gonna figure it out. So again, this is where we came into the conversation where, and even Randall Thor talked about it. I mean, Jez said that people misstrued what Phil said about not delivering on AAA experiences, because we know that they're coming. Indiana Jones is going to be AAA. Avowed is going to be AAA. Ninja Theory's, Hellblade is going to be AAA. So that the AAA content is coming. It's just not here yet. And what was expected to be one of the big ones for 2023 turned out not to be. It was a bit of a miss for a lot of people. What are your takes, or what are your thoughts on what I think to be a bad take by GameIndustry.biz?
Well, I've mentioned this on Twitter before, but I look at it this way: the buck stops with Phil, and commendably he stepped up and fell on the sword for the Redfall team and for the game itself and the condition it launched in. But I think a lot of that has to do with, with him moving up the ladder within the Microsoft, or being the head of Microsoft Gaming, not just Xbox. I think at some point they probably need to look at some of the internal process and some of the team members in key positions, and possibly moving them up where maybe he's not going to just focus on the Xbox future moves, because that's not the whole picture, but have somebody like, whether it be Sarah Bond or Matt Booty or somebody like that, do more of the more, I won't say mundane, but the smaller minutia stuff for Xbox in general, because the big thing is he's focused on the big picture where it comes to ABK and it comes to, the hardware for next generation and how many servers we're going to have as far as for cloud gaming and a whole bunch of the bigger spectrum stuff. So some of that needs to be disseminated down through amongst his team. And it looks like what probably happened, and I know people are going to probably look at this comment as being kind of offbeat or something, but rightfully so. They put all their resources on Starfield because let's be honest here. Starfield is probably the bigger needle mover, let's say, than what Redfall would be. And it's not to take away from Arcane or Redfall as far as the idea behind the game. My personal thought is that it would have probably worked out better if they took the approach like what they did with Grounded and have it released in like early access or something like that. And I think because it's a little bit different than what Arcane is accustomed to, I think that would have made for a better process as far as bringing that game to market. But all things considered, I'm under the impression all the resources that probably Redfall could have used or may have needed in addition to what they received went directly towards Starfield to make sure that it's not going to be your quote unquote typical Bethesda launch type game type of deal. So I think the focus was to make sure Starfield was that AAA banger that releases as polished as possible. And Phil probably relied on Arcane to deliver like what they've delivered in the past, and didn't think much that they would probably need the extra resources or the extra check-ins, as far as like I think he made mention of like 2 months ago is when they found out it wouldn't be 60 frames, which me personally, I would say once they canceled the PS5 version, that should have been when everything was pushed towards, hey, let's make sure it's 60 frames and get the resources there. But my gut is that went over to Starfield. But nonetheless, he took the arrows, as you say, and I would love to be a fly on the wall for that Monday meeting afterwards with the Arcane team and the higher ups at Bethesda. Not calling for anybody's heads. It's just more so they need to reflect on the processes that they have, possibly promote from within, or maybe hire from outside people that can be in key oversight positions. But I think in the grand scheme of things, we know they're working on AAA stuff. There is some truth to the matter as far as you're not going to out console these other brands, even with AAA. And it's the, I guess, the time frame of what he was mentioning. It's not going to be a drastic change, meaning like instantly. It's something that's going to take time. Like they had all of the previous generation to try to maintain or catch up, and they didn't catch up, but they kind of maintained a certain level all that previous generation. And it might take this entire generation to, even come close to catching up, or at least coming within striking distance, as opposed to being outsold 3-1 type of deal like last gen. Yep. So it's something that, one, takes time. Two, they're already working on it. And it always seems like people want to call for Phil's head right when we're in the playoffs, right when we're in game 3 and we got the lead. Dude.
Yeah,
and it's like the showcase is about to drop. We know that they're ready to do the quarterly release of a AAA game, and in that time frame they're going to have smaller experiences mixed in there too. So it never ceases to amaze me. It's like people have been calling for Xbox to fail and be a third party or be sold off for 20 plus years. I mean, I guess at some point, if people keep on saying it, it'll eventually be true. Who knows? It might be 60 years from now when, a company like Ray-Ban might be the VR, leaders in gaming or something crazy like that. But, as far as it goes now, he realizes that this is not acceptable from the fan base standpoint. And I would hope that would mean, this Monday meeting and here moving forward, things are going to be reevaluated as far as some of the processes that may have been overlooked before. I mean, the thing about that mock reviews that they do internally, I mean, I'm retired here. I would almost volunteer to do some of those, but it's one of those things where it's probably best for them to do it outside the walls of Microsoft, just because when you work for a company, it's
non-biased at that point. Yeah,
you'll have some bias, but you may be blinded by some of the things that the outside looking in type of folks will clearly see a lot sooner, or call out and say, hey, maybe this needs to be looked at, or maybe this needs a little more time to bake. But I understand people's frustrations. I'm frustrated, but it's not the end of the world for the fact that me personally, now if Forza Motorsport released in this fashion, then yeah, maybe I would have a different tune to things. But
See how it is.
I kind of I kind of think Turn 10 is one of those studios where I don't have anything to worry about.
No.
They've already made mention that, you know, some of my original concerns with the number of cars and tracks has already been, you know, put to rest type of deal. I didn't want another Motorsport 5 where it was like, oh, only 100 cars to start, but they build as they go kind of thing. But yeah, I get the frustration, but man, why is it that when things are about to pop off, everybody's like, oh, he's got to go. He's got to go. Get him out of there. It's like, do you not remember like 5-6 years ago, the brand was almost in the toilet kind of thing?
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I look at it as a lot of the things from that interview were misconstrued or misunderstood because either people have blinders on or are so focused on whatever emotion, whether they're frustrated or angry or being disingenuous. Because a lot of those that are like, oh, Xbox needs to compete, are the same disingenuous people that are like, oh, they shouldn't be a monopoly. It's like, okay, pick one. But yeah, it's Phil, keep him at CEO as far as, you know, head of Microsoft Gaming. Maybe move Sarah Bond up or Matt Booty up or somebody that can be sort of like an in between, or maybe get Pete Hines and Todd Howard over there some more help as far as their range of studios when they have multiple games that are about to release kind of thing, just so there's a better, you know, standard of quality across the board, not just focus on the big game or the smaller games and make sure they're polished to the nth degree, like, you know, your Hi-Fi Rush. Make sure all of them meet that standard and check in on them. Don't just rely on what they did previously.
It should be a weekly check-in, dude. Like, honestly, I don't know what happened where, I mean, again, we've heard people ask the question, like, what exactly happened? What, you know, I mean, Bethesda is apparently a great place to work. Was somebody on the dev team afraid to say that this game wasn't ready for prime time? I don't know. Someone will write a book one day.
Yeah, I honestly think it was just because it was probably an internal call to make all hands on deck for Starfield. And probably Arcane felt like, yeah, we're not going to interrupt that because that is the bigger, you know, star out of the what's coming out soon. So I just think a lot of people just kind of, you know, let Starfield take the lead, and then it was like, all right, we'll get through everything we can, and you know, this was the result. But I think eventually they can bring it to, you know, a better standard as far as constantly working on it, kind of like what they did with Sea of Thieves and a few other titles that they've, you know, it reiterated on, like State of Decay 2 and stuff like that. But I think this is just a matter of, yeah, there have been other mistakes, but it's one mistake out of however many games over the past 2 years that they've released. I wouldn't say it's the end of the world. If Starfield and Motorsport and then let's say Hellblade all have, you know, bumpy starts or terrible starts, then maybe we'll have a different conversation. But this is one game that I don't think was the eye of the prize or the main focus. So that's why it kind of slipped through the crack kind of deal.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we're never going to know. All I know is that as someone who's been playing the game for over 30 hours, really enjoying what's here, there are bones here that they could build off of. Maybe what has me excited personally, folks, is the fact that Phil Spencer during this interview said live on the air, so we can hold his toes to the fire if he reneges on this, right? If he changes his mind or he doesn't, follow through with what he said, because I don't forgive if you renege on it. If you're gonna renege a promise, then sorry, I got to call you out for it. He said specifically, gentlemen and chat, which we have almost 600 people here, which is unbelievable. I'm still blown away by it. He said that we're going to treat this like Sea of Thieves and or Grounded, which means that they're going to put some development dollars into this, and that it needs it. The game is something special. It just needs a lot of help. Work on that AI. The AI is just bonkers broken. Like, honestly. Cutscenes. Someone said it in the chat. Now, I don't know if the guy's being a bit of a troll. And I told him about himself already. Have your opinion, brother. I'm right there with you. No cutscenes, especially coming off of, we got one more thing for you. And they had this big animated, thing about Redfall. Everyone's like, oh my God, this is arcane, right? And then it's like watercolor stuff. Nah, it's not good enough. Not in a game that's supposed to be AAA. Like I said, there are a lot of things. Like if I'm polled, if I'm ever asked, hey, listen, can you take what's broken? I'd be more than happy to do a questionnaire or sit down with somebody and talk about it, because there's a lot that is not working, but there's a lot that is working, and this game has bones. It's just Microsoft, or specifically Xbox and Arcane, have to really dedicate the team to fixing what is wrong. And this again, if it gets the TLC that I think it's going to get based on Phil's promise, this is going to be a different looking game a year from now. At least is what I'm hoping. Crazy. I want to get your hot take on this, but before I do, I got to catch up on Super Chat's been, wow, man. I mean, like a freaking lot of them. So thank you in advance for all the outstanding support for the channel. And we have a Super Chat from someone making his debut, if you will. First Super Chat ever, Game Pass Guy. Hey, brother, welcome to the show. And thank you so much for the $5 Super Chat. That generosity is very, very welcomed here. He says, first Super Chat ever, but I love the content from all of you. Any thoughts on the leaked time travel game in development for the Xbox exclusive? That's exclusive. Now, what he is talking about was during the NFL draft. I don't remember what team this rookie was a part of, but he was interviewed, not by anybody in gaming. He was interviewed, by a sportscaster. And I guess he might have let the cat out of the bag of a game that he is somehow involved with, where it's talking about SEAL Team 6 going back in history to prevent someone from changing world events. I'm getting goosebumps because that sounds dope to me. I don't know if it's true. I don't know if he said it's Xbox exclusive. He said that. So I don't know if he probably got a bit of trouble for that. It sounds dope. It also sounds super early. So I don't know even what team it is, what studio is making it, but it sounds kind of dope to me. So yes, thank you so much for the Super Chat. Thank you for that call out, because that's pretty cool about that. Yeah, again, nothing to do with, sports, nothing to do with really gaming, but he made mention of it and it made news. JD Gamer, who's been a channel member for over 2 years, dropped a $5 Super Chat and says, I don't know if anyone noticed, but Redfall just got an update. Yes, it did. As a matter of fact, I was playing it, and while I was playing it, it literally brought me back to the screen. I was in a safe house, so I didn't lose anything. And I checked it. I'm like, wait, did the game just crap out on me? No, it's updating. What it's updated, I don't know. I guess we'll find out during the week. But he says, I don't care exactly what it does, but it is live right now. I wonder if a lot of issues are fixed. I don't know if a lot of issues may be fixed. I know that the AI situation, I know there was a story. Who the heck was telling the story over the week? Someone told a story about someone had made a boo-boo with the AI when they were writing the code, and it made the AI just dumb, and they fixed it by just putting the code correctly. I don't know. I mean, the AI is just terrible. You could be sitting down, crouched down, and they run past you, you just shoot them in the back. It's terrible AI, but maybe they fix that. Now they have a lot of work to go, but any update that's going to fix some of the issues that people are having is obviously a good update. We have LeBurn98 drops a very generous $5.50 super chat and says, Phil said great games will not change the console share in some dramatic way. He did not say, or he didn't say, Xbox would close the gap or not make great games. Yeah, that's one of those comments. Like, folks, look, I'll put it to this way. even if ABK happens, and I still think it's going to happen, and Motorsport and Starfield and Hellblade, they're all quote unquote, the B word that nobody likes me to use, which I won't use it. Okay. Let's say they're all hits. They are critically and commercially huge for Xbox. It's not going to change, at least not initially, the market share leader. PlayStation is the leader for a multitude of reasons. I mean, obviously, we're not talking about it today. I think we're going to save it for Breakfast with Boom because I'm getting some behind the scenes stuff. Anyone see the story where, according to leakers, even Jess Corden, who actually put this on his home Twitter page, that Konami has signed an exclusivity deal with PlayStation for Silent Hill, which is exclusive. It's timed, but take that with a grain of salt because some other things were timed and they still haven't launched on Xbox. The new Castlevania, which is in development, and the remake of Metal Gear Solid 3, which I'm kind of weird on that one. Like, why make that one? I like Snake Eater, but I kind of want the original, like the OG one. I don't know why they picked that one, but it's fine. And I'd rather play it on an Xbox, folks. But I'm not going to front. I'm not going to miss out on some experiences on the PlayStation, which is why I have it. So we're going to talk about that on Friday. And the reason why I'm not talking about it now is because I am writing another topic that's going to segue into what I think Microsoft really needs to do. I would like to see, folks, and please let me know in the chat if you think I'm right or wrong on this. I kind of want to see a return to the Xbox 360 era where they locked up exclusives on a regular basis. And I think they need to return to that. I get it. I get it. They got to do first party. First party's got to deliver, sure. But man, it's just Sony's outpacing them on these third party deals, and I kind of feel they gotta put up some sort of a fight. But we'll get into that on Breakfast at Boom. Again, I do these shows. I work 5 days in advance. Like Dave will laugh. I sent him. What was it? Friday night. Hey, I'm working on Monday's show. It's Friday. Enjoy your weekend. But yeah, this is what we do. This is my life, and I quite love it. But
hey, Boom.
Yes, sir.
Just to, no, sorry to interrupt. I know I do this.
That's all right.
But Psychonaut said in chat that he sent you in the DM, in a DM from him, Psychonauts.
Okay, let me see.
A tweet about
here it
Redfall
is.
patch
Yes.
notes.
Yeah. All right. So thank you so much, Psychonaut. Super appreciate you being here, brother. But thank you so much on this. According to Psychonauts, he just we're going to read it the verbatim. It's from Bethesda. Redfall version 1.01 hotfix release notes. Today's hotfixes for Redfall includes back-end improvements, and this is what they had to say. Today's hotfix for Redfall includes back-end improvements, gameplay, fixed an infinite loading screen issue that resulted from suspending and resuming gameplay while fast traveling across the map. They fixed a save system crash that resulted from suspending and resuming gameplay while fast traveling across the map, and the servers have been updated. Update game server heartbeat logic for improved back-end communication with live servers. So it's not AI or it's not a giant patch, but they did fix a patch. I mean, for some reason it's weird. If I go to the game card, it says I have almost 40 hours, right? And I don't let it sit there while I do the wash to try and cheat myself out of getting extra hours playing the game. I actually played that much. And for some reason, there was something glitched when I was loading a save out of a safe house where it says I have 9 hours now. I'm like, 9 hours? I had 9 hours on Saturday, but just on the game itself. So yeah, I mean, listen, it's they're fixing it as they go, and all we can say is thank you for that. So shout out to Psychonauts for that, brother. Thank you so much for the hot information. Kingfish 737 drops has been a channel member for 15 months. Thanks so much for that, brother. He says, hey, Boom and panel, just wanted to show some love. Hashtag gaming is for everyone. Indeed it is, brother, and thank you for the generosity. We also have Gaming Nerd Austria, who's been a channel member for a month. Thank you so much for that. He drops £5 super chat and says Xbox did Redfall, Sony did Godfall or Forspoken, because that wasn't exclusive, even though it was Square. So I mean, they both had specifically this year, they each had a bomb, right? So the Redfall is Microsoft's, Forspoken, which is a big 2 or 3 year exclusive for Sony. There you go. So we each had an exclusive that wasn't so great. He says both failed. Maybe they should stop doing full games on both sides. Great show as usual. I mean, listen, they have to put them out sometime. But yeah, I agree. Highlander 001 drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, this is Arcane's first co-op game. So they dropped the ball. Naughty Dog, a bad port of The Last of Us. The Last of Us remake. For PC, does this mean Naughty Dog has no talent? No, it doesn't. What it means is that it was a bad port. It happened. It was funny. I mean, I still can't get the Ellie doing the head spin thing. Like I can't get that out of my mind. I don't know why that is. It's just hilarious. But Crazy Lou Game, let's get your hot take on this this shenanigans, if you will. GameIndustry.biz says Phil needs to go. What are your thoughts?
Phil needs to go. Why? Why does Phil need to go? I mean, why? What has he done so wrong? I don't understand. I mean, this whole week has been, that they failed. Xbox is closed. What else did they say? I even read somewhere that somebody put out a tweet saying that Phil cheats on his wife, and I was like, what? I was like, really? This guy's making stuff up without sitting down and looking at things. Because I'm going to tell you something. If we sit down and we look back on how this generation has been, and if it was only Xbox having problems, right, then I would say, yeah, there is problems in Xbox. The head, Phil's not doing the greatest job and things are happening. But I'm going to tell you something. Everybody has been having issues, right? Everybody, this generation. I mean, look, Star Wars came out, great game, awesome game, came out with performance issues. It did. I mean, it did. It happens. Sony. Let's jump into Sony real quick, and I don't want to. I don't want everybody to feel like I'm attacking Sony, but I'm gonna tell you something.
You kind of froze there, brother. You sound
botting out a little bit.
Yeah, you're botting out pretty bad. Yeah.
Okay, let me do something real quick. Let me reset my internet. You can come back to me. Let me reset.
Yeah, we'll come back to you. We'll come back.
Right.
Don't
be right back. Be right back, guys.
Yeah,
be right back. Right. Keep going.
So as we wait for Fuzzy, as Crazy Lou Gaming to reset his internet, it's gonna take a few minutes, folks. I do, gentlemen, want to move on to the next topic. Obviously, it's the lead topic of the show. Now, over the weekend, as he has done in the past, we got some information from Clobreel. Shout out to him. Recently followed me, so yes, my life is complete, along with several others. Because like I said, I follow these guys and gals, and it's really nice when they recognize you and they do follow you, especially because he don't follow many people, so that's super cool. He put out a tweet, ladies and gentlemen, where we have confirmation that Starfield has been rated M for mature. And according to Clobreel, it has violence, blood, sensitive themes, strong language, and use of drugs. Now, that's not the story. That's just part of the Starfield story. Dave, we keep hearing that it's an all hands on deck situation going on at Xbox Game Studios.
Mm-hmm.
We've heard that the coalition has stepped in, as they have done a lot. They've been doing a lot of side projects and a lot of help for a lot of people. That's the only studio that I know outside of all the top tier studio talent at Bethesda, pouring in hours upon hours of work to get Starfield ready, not only to launch in September, but more importantly, Dave, to launch, to give us a detailed, up-to-date, balls to the wall graphical showpiece for their developer direct that's happening right after the Xbox showcase. And a lot of people in the community, we don't name names here, have said that this the disappointment of Redfall has now put a major amount of pressure on Todd Howard and his team to deliver Starfield. My question to you is, okay, yeah, it's rated M for mature. It's going to have blood. It's going to have gore. It's going to have probably drugs like Fallout did. It's going to have strong language, which is awesome. If you like that sort of thing. Sensitive themes, which I don't know exactly what those sensitive themes are. Hopefully they're done with class and dignity. But at the end of the day, I got to get your hot take on this. We're coming up on E3 time now, even though it's not called E3, right? It's Jeff Keighley's doing his summer games thing. We know that Microsoft has their show. There are rumors that are floating around, Dave, that Sony is doing, and I think this comes the way of Jeff Grubb. I have to confirm it, but I believe it was Jeff.
Just
Grubb
send it to you, it's in the chat.
Okay, excellent. Okay, so Sony is going to show their wares, and folks, I'm here to tell you, I know they're going to show Spider-Man because they want to do an update that's coming this year. I have a very, very strong suspicion before even reading what Dave sent me, that there's going to be an update to factions, the second factions, which is going to be a big deal. A lot of people really enjoyed the Last of Us factions on the PlayStation 3. They're probably going to, and PlayStation 4. This is what a lot of people have been waiting for. So I have a feeling that's going to launch this year as well, even though there's no announcement. I have a feeling that's going to be ready for prime time because it's Naughty Dog, and they don't usually make mistakes. They did with the PC port, but normally they don't, right? A lot of folks, Dave, are suggesting that this is going to be a Year of Dreams Part 2. And some of those games that are going to be at this PlayStation event, which, by the way, they haven't had a real one, like a real PlayStation showcase in almost 2 years, Dave. Metal Gear, Silent Hill, and Castlevania, a reimagined Castlevania. Those are 3 big titles. Now, I don't know if they're going to deliver, but they're still big names. And as we're hearing, they're exclusive to Xbox, whether that be permanently or even a timed exclusive. They're still launching as an exclusive. So the pressure now, the dial has gone up to about, in my opinion, 15 for Xbox's show, because they have to show us. They have to really let it hang out. They got to drop it on the table, folks, and show what they're working with. Okay, pause. But then on the back end of dropping it on the table, we have Starfield, and Starfield is look, folks, there are a lot of big games this year, a lot of big hitters. This is expected to be one of the biggest ones, and it has to deliver. It's Todd Howard's baby. How much pressure is the studio under right now?
Well, I mean, Phil wore it on his face and on his sleeve.
Yeah.
He was disappointed in the way the brand is looking as of right now, and it's all things he pretty much said self-inflicted, and they can do better, and they are really focused on getting Starfield out and up to snuff. Whether it's 30, 60, we'll find all that out coming up in 33 days as to what's going to happen with that. We'll have a better roadmap. They need to hit it out of the park. We know this, and I believe that they will. I believe they've got a lot of stuff in the chamber, that we haven't been, that we're not privy to. He said there's going to be some updates on some stuff we know about. It's going to be some new things. Going to be some new things brought up that we don't know about, and there's even going to be. They mentioned the word collections. whatever that
Yeah.
means.
Mm-hmm.
So those are, other things, and hopefully the family plan. Good. Do you want to say something, Boom?
No, I was going to say, when you said the word collections, you know what came to mind, right?
Oh yeah.
Gears of War, the Marcus Phoenix collection, which is rumored to have been changed to Unreal Engine 5.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see.
That would be interesting. That would be very interesting. But yeah, the rumor that I guess that the Sony showcase might their thing might drop probably like the week of May 25th. I think is
Yeah.
what he said.
Mhm. That's the rumor. At the end of the
So-
month. Yep.
So yeah, and of course the biggest disappointment we found out about the M rating for Starfield is that they didn't list nudity. I mean, hello. I'm just kidding. It was a joke. Sorry. but it that to me it's it's I think some of the other games like that have been mature rated that should be mature rated. It should be blood, gore, stuff. And if one of the I guess the bad guys in the system are running drugs and stuff, I'm sure that's probably some of the sensitive themes, type things. And and that's, I don't know. It's supposed to be really good. It looks like has the potential to be amazing. I'm looking forward to it. We all are looking forward to it. But they have a high bar to hit. We know that. Hopefully, after the show is done, we'll be like, yes. And we're just talking about all the exciting things that are going to happen and going to go on. And then we get the Starfield showcase, and we're all excited about that because they're going to show us an in-depth look, a lot more, and hopefully we'll get the the final word on the frames and all that kind of stuff. We'll get that at least answered that day. 33 days away, it's gonna happen, folks, and I'm looking forward to it, as we all are. I know Boom is doing some kind of maybe an after show or something. So
yeah, I'm gonna probably do the breakfast with Boom prior to that shows over that weekend is gonna be our prediction show.
Ooh, sounds good.
Yeah, everyone's. I'm gonna have a big panel for that. Boxenberger, who's gonna be on vacation, actually, he's gonna be in France with his family on the way back. He's gonna jump in for 15 minutes.
Nice.
He has a show, I believe, Saturday that he's doing regarding a prediction show. I think everyone's gonna have at least one. And I think what we're gonna do for Double Barrel Gaming is I want to watch it as a fan. So
Yeah.
I'm not doing
Same here.
Let's react to it live. No, I don't want to do that because I want to enjoy it. I'm going to do like maybe an hour prior, kind of just talk about it with Xbox fans, get the take of the pulse of the fans, what to expect. At that point, maybe some rumors have jumped out. Maybe something leaked. And then we'll stop it right before the show goes live. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do a strong 2-hour after show that talks about, well, basically what happened. We're going to, and then obviously the week afterwards, we're going to be talking. But yeah, that's going to be, I mean, listen, Dave, it's a lot of pressure. I think that Todd Howard and his team know what is at stake here. I don't think Redfall changes their plans at all. I think that Todd delayed this game multiple times because he knew that this is his passion project, folks. He's been working on this for decades, and now the technology is here. He doesn't want to release a Bethesda game. He wants to release a game that's going to be highly regarded by gamers and by critics alike. And I don't think Redfall changes that for him or his team. Good stuff as always, Dave.
Thank you, sir.
Fuzzy, let's get your hot take on this, man. Is there a significant amount of pressure due to the shortcomings of Redfall from Arcane, or is bad reviews par for the course with gaming? He it's not Todd Howard and his team's first rodeo. We have heard that it is all hands on deck for this game. And I mean, I know we've seen some alpha footage. We've seen some again, we don't know if what we've seen has been on PC. Phil Spencer confirmed that it is the 30 versus 60 frames is going to be answered definitively. I have a feeling that it is going to have both. 30 and 60. That's just my opinion on it. Where do you kind of fall for the pressure that's being put on this game to deliver?
I would assume there would be pressure even if Redfall delivered, just for the fact that it's an Xbox exclusive. I mean, first of all, with it being a Bethesda RPG, a new venture for them, a new IP for them, it would have scrutiny. It would have a decent amount of pressure. But now that it's part of the Xbox, umbrella, I guess you could say, it probably added about 5 times more pressure to it. And then the Redfall probably added about another, 10 points on top of that as far as pressure is concerned. But I think this one is going to be the better prepared for that pressure. I think considering how that all hands on deck approach that they've probably taken since day one with this, since they've been part of the fold, will show the results, or especially with the confidence he said he can't, it'd be better when you have the controller in hand, for you to see for yourself type of deal. I think that's how it'll overcome whatever pressure is put on it. I think in the grand scheme of things, it's going to wind up delivering better than expected. And it would just be a matter of if people are going to give it an honest review or if they're going to nitpick. Because some sites nitpick, and it seems like they do it on things that are more so on Xbox or Xbox marketed. Like a perfect example, High on Life was one of those where it's like, oh, the performance there, they some places nitpicked it to death, and then Jedi Survivor, not so much. It's like, oh, well, it has bugs, but hey, great story. Yeah, okay, I guess the bugs don't count for anything. But in the grand scheme of things, I think this one is going to definitely outshine as far as whatever pressure is put on it. It'll be a diamond in the rough kind of deal when it's all said and done. I expect that in my point of view, I think it will be 30 frames at launch, and I'm fine with that as far as for this particular game. If push comes to shove, I can always load it up on PC if 30 is unbearable, but I think this one will be fine, much like Survivor was for me at 30. But as far as like when there will be an official 60 frames patch, I think there'll probably be a mod from the mod community, days, if not weeks after the game is launched. And then an official 60 frames will probably be like 3 months to 6 months after. But I'm putting that out there only because I would love to be wrong and have it, like you said, where the 30 and 60 are at launch type of deal. But that's not going to be a deal breaker for me. The key thing for me is that as long as I can, progress, not lose save progress, take plenty of photos on a lot of these planets that, I decide to build a base, and, I can structure a crew where possibly we can have multiple ships in a fleet kind of thing. If all of those things are playable, and it's kind of like, Todd's version of a Mass Effect, but like a little bit more grounded kind of thing, I'll be perfectly fine with that. And that's what I'm looking forward to. But it'll have some pressure, but I think people are going to be pleasantly surprised when they see the second part of the showcase. And I'm figuring it's going to be a half hour out of the 2 hours. The main showcase will be 90 minutes, and then this will get like at least a half hour. But looking forward to when they release it, and the fact that it's got mature rating. Yeah, they may not have the nude scenes, which I could care less about.
Yeah,
like a Mass Effect kind of deal.
Yeah.
But the fact that there's going to be blood, violence, and gore, and the drug stuff, maybe that'll be like a like some sort of Adderall thing that you take, or some sort of uppers or whatever that will like make you invincible for a little bit of time, type of thing. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But definitely looking forward to this game. The mature rating, because people want to hear that Xbox is putting out these mature games outside of Gears of War kind of thing. So this will definitely hit the right spot, I think, when this thing is shown and launched in September. But man, I can't wait. I want to see this thing in the flesh as far as having the controller in hand. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, me as well. I'm very much looking forward to one of my most anticipated games, only because I'm a big Bethesda fan. I spent hundreds, if not thousands, of hours in between Fallout New Vegas, Fallout, even though it wasn't them, it was Obsidian, but Fallout 3, Fallout 4. I love, when you look at their history, crazy, their history of something like Skyrim, for instance, which is just one of those games that just will not go away, right? It continues to deliver. People are still playing it, still finding new players after the game's a decade old, maybe even older, right? This is their first new IP in over a decade. And it's going to be it's an Xbox exclusive that is confirmed. I think it has to hit. I think Todd Howard knows that. I think Pete Hines knows that. I think the team building this game knows that, specifically Phil Spencer and all of Xbox knows that, as well as its fans. I know that we didn't get a chance to hear you because about the article, so don't even worry about that. That's fine. But I do want to get your hot take on this particular subject of conversation, and that is the pressure that's going into this June show for the full release of Starfield. I would probably say that, as many eyes that are going to be on the Xbox showcase, because we definitely want to see updates to Fable and Avowed and Hellblade and a few others. I mean, there's quite a few of them in there, and there we are. Phil said that there are going to be some surprises of games that have not been announced, which is exciting. I think that it's anyone that is a gamer. I don't care if you game on PlayStation exclusively, if you're a Nintendo fan, or you are just a diehard Xbox guy or gal. It doesn't matter. I think all eyes are on this particular game. And again, Zelda is probably going to win Game of the Year, right? Spider-Man 2 is probably going to sell 15 million copies at the end of the year. No doubt about it. Just no doubt about it. And we've seen so many games already come out that are huge, but I don't really think there's one as big as this one. I think really all eyes are on this game. Does that add additional pressure to Todd Howard and his team to deliver something special?
I don't think so. I mean, because Todd Howard delayed this already, and it was supposed to come out. I think it was in 2020, and it was then moved to 2021. And then because I remember reading about it in 2020, like it was supposed to be like a 2020 game, but it moved to 2021 or was it 2021? I'm kind of losing my track here, but yeah, I think it was a 2021 and it was moved to 2022, right? And now they delayed it to this year.
Yes,
that was it. Yeah. Since he has delayed it enough, I mean, I'm gonna say something. It might come out with a couple bugs. It might, because since he said it's an ambitious game, it's big. I mean, the way he's talking about it seems like a really big game. I mean, we know how big Skyrim is. I mean, Skyrim they've been adding content to it, and they've been putting into stuff.
The modding community has made that game something really, really special. Yeah.
So can you imagine? I mean, I imagine how big this game is going to be. So yeah, it's probably going to release with a couple things, no doubt. And there's pressure with the whole showcase thing. I'm happy that with this interview, Phil came out and said a couple things, because us as fans, right, as fans of the Xbox brand, we want to know what was going on with all these games. We've been waiting. We saw teasers, we saw really cool stuff, but we just did not see gameplay or anything for the last, since they showed it. When was it? 2021? The first that showcase, or was it 2020? But either way, though, it's been a couple years since we seen some gameplay. We seen a couple things, and yeah, can't wait for this showcase for them to show all this gameplay, all these cool games. And Starfield, man, I know it's gonna be a banger, because hey, if Sony was after it, right? They wanted it so bad on the PlayStation. They really did. And still people, and it's unbelievable how people still go out there and say, hey, I heard that it's not exclusive anymore, and yet they come back and say, yes, it is exclusive. I mean, how many times did they come back to do that? Like 5 or 6 times?
Yeah, everyone that's an Xbox head came out and said it. Phil said it. Aaron Greenberg said it. Pete Hines had an interview with it. He said it. It's Sarah Bond talked about it. It's like they had to kind of really drive that point home, which is ridiculous. But yes, it's exclusive, meaning that yes, you can play it on PC, you can play it on Xbox. You can't play it on
So
Nintendo or PlayStation.
yeah, so that means that hey, this game is gonna be good, and I really, I mean, I'll be honest with you, I have a feeling that yes, it's gonna turn out to be great. It's gonna turn out to be an awesome game,
Yeah.
because hey, the way they've been talking about it, the way they every time you see when they put like one of those short videos, which I really love. I really love it when Todd Howard comes out. Same thing with the Forza guys. When Forza Horizon was coming out, I just loved the short videos on how they came out talking about the game, and you see Todd Howard just go out talk about the game, show you a little bit. And we seen a little bit of gameplay. When was the last time we saw Todd Howard, right? Or talking about the game? We saw like a little bit of gameplay. We saw like a third
Yep.
person version of the game. So I'm telling you, the game's gonna. It looks great. I mean, and I really, I mean, I'm excited for it. I'm one of those people that just cannot wait to see what's gonna happen on that showcase, because really I know they have put a lot of focus into it, and I know they're gonna deliver something great. Of course, there could be bugs. It's normal. It happens. But I know they're going to deliver something great. I hope they do. Really do. So yes.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's shout out to MMM Midnight says seriously, Starfield is nowhere near as popular as Spider-Man. It's not that is true, and they are releasing in the same month, at least supposedly. Spider-Man is rumored to be releasing in September. Starfield is confirmed for September. I mean, there are two different games. One's an RPG. The other one is an action adventure game. Spider-Man is obviously a more well-known character for sure.
Since what year? 1960. What? When was Spider-Man made? Exactly. So
I mean, again, one's an RPG, but Bethesda is a very, very beloved studio. I mean, are we gonna measure D's here? Who sells more? I don't know. I mean, I know that 30 plus million people have Xbox Game Pass, and that
will
are
sell
going.
More.
What's that?
Starfield will sell more, clearly. It's on more platforms.
Yeah. I mean, it's on PC. Spider-Man is not. Spider-Man, is a popular. Spider-Man 2 is going to be amazing. No pun intended. Real quick, Z Black Rider, good generous friend of the of the channel, and thank you, brother. It's great to see you back in the chat. Love that you've been supporting the channel as long as you have. We super appreciate that. He says, "Buck up, give us your take." I think Starfield does 15 million out the door. I mean, some people will say that's a high number, but folks, it's Bethesda. It's Todd Howard. People are still playing Skyrim a decade later. This is one of those games that is going to be everlasting. And I know that what I saw a year and 18 months ago looked phenomenal. I can only imagine what it looks like now. But listen, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it. We went to overtime a little bit by 15 minutes. Normally this is a 90-minute show, but we had a little technical issues with Crazy, and obviously it's a conversational podcast. Hopefully you enjoyed yourself enough to hit the like button. There's still 550 people here. Please, for the love of Joe, hit the like button before you get on out. Let's get to the outros. We'll start with Web Dave. Web Dave, obviously, you had a great show on Sunday. Two big guests in Infinite Umber, who's I love that dude. He's like a brother to me. And of course, VJ, who was a part of the Xbox Factor podcast. He's alive, folks. He lives. VJ lives. He jumped on. That was great. You and Retri do a great job each and every Sunday. But you dropped not only that on Sunday, but you also have your new one-on-one series. And I'd like you to talk about who that was, how that went, and where could people subscribe to get you past 1K on YouTube.
Well, it was the final of the 4 Iron Lords, Lord Addict, and his episode drops today. It's available right now to watch for free. The link to the description, I guess, is in the description of Boom's channel. It's a link to my show at Outbreak Gamers. If you need to just do a search for it on YouTube. But yeah, it was a good interview, good solid interview, and then the Sunday night show was fantastic. A lot of good things coming up for all of us in the community, and I'm looking forward to Mondays. I should say Fridays. Breakfast with Boom. I'm looking forward to being on there because we're gonna have some good topics for that too.
Yeah, I'm already working on Friday's show. Believe it or not, I was working on it last night. So it's again, this, you sprinkle, we have a running theme, and then of course, whatever breaking news is breaking, we talk about it. But Dave, great to have you here, brother. And obviously, please, folks, for the love of Joe, Dave does it right. He doesn't use hate. None of us here use hate as a motivation for you to click the sub button. It's all great content. It's all conversational podcasts, and that's what you want. At least that's what I want. The minute I start to see someone pushing hate, I unsub, or I don't even sub at all. I don't need that in my life. Like I said, I'm getting too old for this shit, so to speak, and I'm not gonna subscribe to hate content. I just can't. I can't. The world sucks as it is, and I'm not gonna listen to someone be a hateful prick. Just not gonna do it. And none of us do that here. So if you are someone that is a gamer and you like conversational podcasts, everyone here delivers, including Fuzzy Belvedere. Fuzzy, sell your brand, brother. Talk about the best place for anything and everything in the racing genre. You're going to be busy, obviously, when Forza Motorsport releases later this year. We're thinking October. Talk about it, man. Where can people subscribe to your YouTube channel, but more importantly, reach out to you on social media?
Oh, just want to thank you for having me on. It was awesome being on here with you guys, and man, got to get a lot of things off our chest as far as a lot of the stuff in the gaming news space. But man, this was awesome being on here, and thanks to everybody in the chat and those that'll catch us on replay and stuff. But for those that want to hear my rambles and rants, just follow me on Twitter, Fuzzy_Belvedere. Also search for Fuzzy Belvedere on YouTube. You can always reach me either through DM or even on Xbox or PlayStation. As far as the gamer tag is the same as my screen name. But for those that want to also hear my or see me on other places, just check out FSP later on tonight on Fun Speculations channel at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time later on tonight, and then right back here on Double Barrel Gaming at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for Breakfast with Boom. Look forward to seeing you there.
Yeah, brother. Thank you so much for being a part of not only this show, but of course, Friday mornings, Breakfast with Boom, and last and no way least, representing the Xbox International Podcast, which you have an amazing panel of really, really good and cool people. Please sell your brand. You guys hit 1K earlier this year, and you continue to grow, and it's a well-deserved growth because you guys put on an amazing show. Sell it, brother. Tell everyone where they can check out the Xbox International Podcast, but more importantly, reach out to you on social media. And now that you're out of jail, they can definitely get to you.
Oh man, you guys can find me on Twitter at Crazy Louis Gaming. That's where I say my good morning and do all sorts of crazy stuff. And also Mondays here hanging out with you guys. Xbox Launch Week Special at noonish, having a lot of fun like we always do. Tuesdays is Playing with Crazy on the Xbox International Podcast channel. That's where I play scary games so you guys can fun, watch me, enjoy watching me be scared, grab the keyboard, smash everything, because man, I get nuts when things pop in the screen. I mean, literally, I you guys got to see it though. I'm gonna put a couple, previews of me just jumping out of my chair. And last but not least, this Wednesday, guys, I'm gonna bring a shield. I mean, I gotta go to the store. I gotta buy a big shield because man, we're gonna have a crazy, messy show this Wednesday. I mean, I'm telling you, we're gonna have one of the best interviewers out there this Wednesday. And that is the awesome Mr. Webb Davis gonna come join us this Wednesday on the Xbox International Podcast at 7 p.m. ET with me, Silent Cypher, the Big Boom, and Sour Blow, talking about what's going on in the gaming world. We're gonna have a lot of fun. I know that for a fact.
Yeah. Good stuff, brother. Good stuff. Real quick, the White Wolf in the chat. I see. Again, I don't ban people for opinions. You can have yours, but I kind of feel, dude, like this is a little console war-y. He says selling Game Pass is more important than actual amazing games that will sell the service. Irony. Like do you have Xbox Game Pass? I'm just curious because yes, it's a service. And you have to have great games. And I don't know, maybe because one game missed with Redfall, the ceiling is falling. I mean, have you been paying attention to what games are currently in there? I mean, again, I'm not trying to join the console war talk here, but if you're a PlayStation dude or gal, right? I don't know, a guy, gal, whatever, you're welcome. If you're a PlayStation player, you had to pay $76.43 for MLB The Show. Your first party, Sony did that to you. Xbox players got the best version for their Game Pass subscription price. I don't know. I mean, is that worthy of a conversation? No, it was for 5 minutes because Sony charges $3 more for their service per month, $18, and they don't put their games in there. That's crazy. So I don't get it where the trolling is coming from. You have an opinion, sure, but I think you're wrong, dude. Like, there's plenty of games out there, and I don't think that it has to be a AAA Spider-Man to be considered a good game. Play Ravenlock. Play Benedict Fox. Play Planet of Lana coming. All amazing indie games. But because they don't have an A next to them, you don't play them, then you're missing out, brother. I don't know what to tell you. But listen, you're entitled to your opinion. I think you're wrong, but it's your opinion. Anyway, you get everyone out here. Again, thank you for
one last
hanging
super
out.
chat.
Oh, another one came in. Let me see. Where is that? Okay, let me get to the private chat. Oh, yes, Lieutenant Hulk. Hey, brother, thank you so much for being here. But, of course, thank you for the generosity. He drops a $2 super chat and says, one and done versus unlimited gameplay. It's a no-brainer. Yeah, I mean, Spider-Man is probably going to be a 20-plus hour game, which is awesome, right? Me, I'll probably play for a lot longer than that, maybe even double that, because I like doing all the collectibles. I for some reason, I love platinum in those games. I platinum Spider-Man 2018. I'm one trophy away from platinum Miles Morales, and I'll probably platinum this game. I love Spider-Man. I love Marvel, so I'll definitely get into that. We'll see. I mean, obviously, Starfield is going to be something that's going to be told for years, and it's going to have, especially if you play on PC, the modding community is going to be bonkers with it. I can't wait to see someone make the first Boba Fett ship, or the Millennium Falcon, or TIE Fighter, or Battlestar Galactica's original from the 70s ship. Oh my God, that'd be so dope. But listen, ladies and gentlemen, I cannot thank you enough for the generosity. It helps more than you possibly know. We put a lot of work and a lot of money into the channel to make sure that it looks and runs great. New lighting, new programs, to make the thumbnails look attractive. Artwork for the store, the merch store that we launched a month ago. I mean, that costs money, and my retirement, even though it's good, it has a ceiling. So thank you again for that. And of course, I'm going to close out the show, folks, with something that's important to me. Hopefully one day it'll be important to you. And that's something that my dad taught us when we were kids. And he would say, Craig, treat others how you want to be treated. And also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, son. I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone. And we'll see you next week on the newest episode of the Xbox Lunch Break Special.